Hello, I'm Paul O'Kelly, editor of Dublin Champion, and this is my review for today's papers, Friday, July the 26th, 2024. Violent crime dominates the front pages, but there's hope too, with 3 sporting experts predicting no fewer than 10 Olympic medals for the Irish. 2 crime stories dominate. The record sentence 30 years in total for taxi driver and serial rapist Raymond Shorten, and the final verdict in the trial of those responsible for the horrific graveside killing of 42-year-old traveller Thomas Dooley. The Star quotes the protests of the final man convicted, the victim's cousin, David Dooley. "On my wife's grave, I'm an innocent man." The taxi driver conviction has wide implications, with 2 papers, the Herald and the Star, suggesting that the crimes for which Shorten was sentenced may be just the tip of the iceberg. "How many more taxi rapes?" asks the banner in the Star, with the Herald headline reading, "Taxi rape, beast, may have more victims." And indeed, several papers note that taxi applicants may soon face far stiffer vetting. Justice Minister Helen McEntee has already promised reforms, with her department saying that they're getting top priority. And the Irish Daily Star quotes Garda Chief Drew Harris. "There are other victims out there," Harris says, "and I would make an appeal to them to come forward." Yet all the papers, with the exception of the Irish Daily Mirror, ignore another crime that is certainly up there in terms of scale and horror. It makes page 21 of that paper, where we read that 23 members of the MacDonagh and O'Donnell traveller clans arrived in 13 vehicles to a junior boxing tournament in Coventry, armed with axes, knives and sticks. There they proceeded to lay into each other and to the furniture. "War Zone" is the headline, above blurred mobile phone photos of the mayhem. But photograph of the day has to be a wonderful aerial study of the Carrickmore estate in Waterford, home of next week's music festival, Together Now. In business news, the Irish Independent tells us that there were fewer than 13,000 houses built so far this year. That makes it unlikely, they say, that the government will reach its Christmas target of 33,000. The Star and the Mirror have double-page spreads featuring the Irish Olympic athletes most likely to succeed, with photos of Tala track star Rashida Adeleke dominating in both cases. And the Irish Times asked 6 sports experts about our medal chances. 3 of them, Sonia O'Sullivan, Dennis Walsh and Ian O'Riordan, predicted a record 10 podium finishes for the Irish Olympians. And finally, in the same paper, a misprint, or rather 2 misprints. Okay, a real misprint and a misprint that isn't really a bit... Here, I'll just read it out. Brian O'Connor's sports column has a subhead, "Something for the Weekend," where he says that in the King George at Ascot, Sunday will run on Saturday. He said that Sunway, not Sunday, will run on Friday. That's today. But actually the King George is tomorrow. That's Saturday for Sunway. Look, the race is on Saturday, okay? And the horse is Sunway. And just going a few pages back in the Irishman's diary column, I was just about to accuse poor innocent Frank McNally of not 1 but 2 howlers. What looked like a cut and paste error from the column turned up a second time in a caption. In both cases, the word cards is spelled CYA or DS. Well, come back, Frank, all is forgiven. In fact, he's simply giving us a lesson in Cavan English, where vestiges of the soft Irish C, as in Kesht and more audibly in Ceann, can still be heard in English, all the way apparently from Cavan to Cooley. And from there, and making its way around the globe to Australia and New Zealand, we can also hear that Ulster invention, the sentence ending "but," as in, "You'll not win much money playing cards, but..." Yes, it's humble old YouTube, but thanks to the Dictionary of Hiberno-English by the great Terry Dolan, it might as well be a house of higher learning. Thank you, Terry. Just a reminder that we'll be reviewing the papers every Friday, Saturday and Sunday. We'll have both sound-only and video versions, with this one, the sound-only version, available just after 10 in the morning, 11 o'clock on Sundays, with video a little later. More details on our website, dublinchampion.ie.